Sir Robert Normanby, the Earl of Sodor, announced that the railway line that runs from the main line towards Alston Castle will have an extension that goes nearby Thomas's branch line via the loop line. Because of this, they need more supplies than they ever before, particularly steel. Because the ironworks cannot produce the steel in a short amount of time, they had to rely on another source from the other railway. Frank and Daylight would do this job, bringing steel from the other railway. Unfortunately, they could not handle it on their own, so the Fat Controller arranged Thomas and James to do the steel runs instead. The other engines could not understand why the Fat Controller chose them. All Thomas and James could say is that on the other railway, Steelworks, they knew these engines. All of them been wondering who these engines are. James told me that these engines are unique, said Henry. Really, said Gordon. I thought they run by diesels. Well, yes, they do, but Gordon, only one. The rest of them are 4 steam engines, which are very, very unusual. Experimental, I would say. Experimental, said Toby. I heard that word before, but I can't remember what does that mean. Well, said Edward, experimental means one of a kind, very rare, hard to find. Percy was very intrigued. A few days later, the Fat Controller ordered Percy to go to the other railway steelworks. Percy was excited. He could not wait to meet those strange engines running there. When he arrived, Thomas and James were there. They were waiting for their steel trains. Percy looked to his right and was surprised to see the steelworks. It's quite big, but not that big. But it's also very grimy and dirty, with trucks scattered all around with lots of steel. So, what about these steel engines? You did say you knew them very well. Yes, that's right, said Thomas. I bumped into them during my trip to the other railway, and I bumped them afterwards, said James. Oh look, here comes one right now. Percy was surprised to see a small unusual tank engine pushing a truck out of the steelworks. That is Theo. And look, there's Lexi and Frankie. They work here too. Percy was intrigued. So you're all very, strange engines, said Percy. No offense. That's alright, said Lexi. We get like that all the time. It's really nice to meet you, Percy, said Frankie. And as well as me, said Theo. Well, I'm kind of surprised that you are, smaller than Thomas. Well, yes, by design. But I'm really useful. Are there any more engines working here? It's me, said Hurricane, pulling up. Oh, hello. Whoa, you look like Gordon. Who's Gordon? Never mind. Anyway, I'm here to help out with the steel runs. Good, said Thomas. You can start first, Percy. James and I are going to have a rest. Okay, Thomas, James, said Percy. He was delighted to start work. Over the next few days, Percy would collect steel from the steelworks. At the same time, while waiting for his train to be ready, he would chat with some of the engines. He was very intrigued about their designs, their history, and when they first worked the ironworks, all thanks to Thomas and James. Percy was very intrigued. He couldn't wait to tell the others, but he had to do all his steel runs first. At the end of the month, Percy returned to the steelworks for the last time, as for the Earl of Sodor said there was enough supplies to finish the construction of the extension. Percy felt sad that he would be saying goodbye to them, but Hurricane Frankie, Theo and Lexi say they might visit Sodor one day. That's good, said Percy. Also, was there another engine that also worked here? Thomas and James said that there's this invisible engine. Oh, you mean Merlin, said Lexi. Well, he's not here at the moment, but I hope that you could see him on your way back. And good luck with that, said Theo. He's invisible? Really? I would like to see that, said Percy. Oh, you better get going, said Frankie. Your train must leave soon. Bye, Percy. Enjoy your trip back home. We'll see you again next time. See you all, said Percy, as Percy backed down onto the last train and departed. Oh, Merlin, you just came back. Sorry, you just missed him. Don't worry, I know exactly how he looks like. Thomas told me everything what he looks like, and I'll see him one day if I visit the island of Sodor too. When Percy got home, he told the other engines all about what he saw, and they were all impressed. You don't have to travel all the way there. They say they might visit Sodor one day. Let's just hope so, said all the other engines.